here are some, now we can move from the sort of underlying domains of nature, the unknown, culture, the known, and the individual, and then we can start to put some symbolic flesh on those bones. And this will help us when we get into discussions of psychoanalytic theory, because the analytical psychologists like Jung and the psychoanalysts like Freud were very, very interested in the images that were produced by what they regarded as the unconscious mind. Now, your most direct contact with those sorts of images would come from two sources. One would be your dreams, and the other would be the stories that you're exposed to, both ancient and new, because those stories are full of mythological motifs. I mean, it's very weird, you know. In recent years, the most expensive artifacts that human beings produce, virtually, maybe with the exception of plants that fabricate chips, are movies, visual representations of mythological themes. So, for example, the Marvel movies, Iron Man and those sorts of movies, and the Avenger, those are among the most expensive things that people have ever created. And, you know, you say, well, there's obviously a profit motive underlying that. Well, yeah, it's not a very intelligent analysis. The point is that people are still devoting a staggering amount of effort to representations like that, and everybody goes and watches them. So, just for an example, you know, in the Avengers movie, I can name half a dozen mythological motifs that are embedded in that. So, for example, Iron Man is an alchemical symbol because he's turning into gold, and iron turns into gold as far as the ancient alchemists are concerned. That's part of its moral progression towards perfection. And his suit represents that because it's gold, even though he's the Iron Man. He's also Icarus, right? Remember Icarus flies too close to the sun and then plummets to Earth. So, of course, Iron Man does that when he's encountering the thermonuclear explosion that eventually wipes out the demonic aliens that are pouring through the portal in time. So, in the Thor movies, that's a hostile brothers motif. So there's Thor and Loki, that's like Cain and Abel, or Christ and Satan, it's the same motif. And it's representative of the sort of eternal battle between good and evil that's going on in the background of human consciousness. And like, it's on and on and on. These movies portray these symbolic realities for us, and we're so hungry for them that we'll line up and pay to watch them. It's very strange if you think about it, you know. There's not many forms of activity that you will do that for, you know. And they're very informative, those movies, but, you know, you don't generally line up and pay for lectures. Movies, man, you'll go to those for fun. It's like, it's very strange behavior, especially when you look at what the things are representing, you know. Everything that medieval Christians, for example, you know, got exposed to in the Catholic Church and in the mythology that went along with that, we go to movies and see. So, and the movie's set up the same way a church is, right? There's rows and rows of seats and all the mythological actions at the front. And it's bright and there's music and it's exactly the same thing.